Hey there, everybody. Welcome to a new Blacklist Season 9 theory discussion. Alas, there is no new episode this week. We are done with new episodes for this calendar year.
Yep, but I mean, they left us with quite a lot to talk about the letter. Did Liz read it? What's going on with it being sealed and Red having to use the letter opener? We're going to talk all about that in this video.
We have put on all of our best, investigator suits. We deep dived our way into this past episode. We even went back into the Season 8 finale and we have looked at the clues. We have
Yep.
I don't know if they're answers, but there's something very, very clear as to what's going on here.
Yeah, there's a few things that make me feel that Liz absolutely did read that letter, but there's a divide. Some people think no, some people think yes. We're going to get into all of it, but before we do, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We are here all the time talking about the Blacklist. This may or may not be our last video before Christmas. If it is, Happy Christmas to everybody. We are hoping that everybody out there who's celebrating it has a really nice one. You know, it's that time of year where everybody's putting on their lights. We got up a string of lights that's falling down off our house in an inflatable penguin. But up on our Instagram, we've posted a picture of our neighbor's house because we are living next to the Griswolds. It is wild. So head over to our Instagram, Matt and Just TV, and take a look at this house. It really is crazy.
Listen,
that energy bill, man. Ooh, woof. No, thank you. I'll take my one falling down string of lights.
It is the heart that matters, and there's a lot of heart in that one string of lights and inflatable penguin out there.
That's right.
Okay, so let's talk all about this twist in the letter, because I think the moment that we all learned on this past episode, oh wait, Liz's fingerprint is on that envelope. Like, does this mean that she actually, for sure, legitimately saw the letter?
Okay, so here's the thing. When Red pulled it out of this book, which was called Tales of Mystery and Imagination, we see what you're doing here, NBC, that you're trying to torment us, that everything is left up to our imagination. We want answers. You can take your book, go kick rocks.
That's nicer than what I was going to say.
No, anyways, he pulls this envelope out that has this letter in it, the letter.
Yeah.
And he uses a letter opener to open it. So it's sealed. Okay, so does that mean that she did not read the letter? Her fingerprints are said to be on the outside of it, but not the letter. I'm sure he didn't want to give the actual letter to anybody since this is a secret that he's really protecting.
Yeah.
So he took the envelope, had that sent in for fingerprints. Liz's fingerprints are on that envelope, but it was sealed.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? To me, that means that she actually read it and put it back in another envelope. I mean, it's that easy.
Yeah, I don't think that there's any real sort of mystery as to how this could have come about. I mean, let's put it this way. Let's say somebody comes up to us and gives one of us an envelope and is like, in this envelope contains some of the most powerful explosive secrets of your very existence. If you are Liz and Dembe is coming to you and giving you this, are you gonna open it? The answer is yes, and it's not when, it is immediately you open it. You waste zero time, and then when all of that is done, like, I don't know if it is Liz who went and put it in another envelope, or Dembe was just like, hold on, I got this, and then he did it for her.
No, I think that she put it back in there because her fingerprints were on the envelope, so she had to have at least touched it to go back into this envelope. I think she probably didn't want Dembe to get in trouble for what he's done. So she was like, I will put it back in the envelope and we will put it back wherever it is that he's keeping it, and probably gave it back to Dembe and just said, put it back in this book and it'll all be fine.
Yeah, and I just think because the envelope had the fingerprint on it, I think at that point, the writers are signaling to us, okay, it doesn't matter who's touched the actual letter, who hasn't touched the actual letter. I think they think that Liz, the character, is kind of like all of us. If she gets the envelope, she's going to open the letter. It doesn't matter how much time she has.
She has done so much to find out the truth. There is absolutely no way that she is going to hold this envelope and then be like, nah, I'm good. You can put it back. There is no way that happened.
No, and this, I think where a lot of this gets sort of complicated, and I think this is what a lot of people have asked sort of questions about here is, okay, well, let's say Liz for sure got the letter. She saw it, she looked at the inside of it, and then, she put it back in a new envelope or whatever else. Like, when was this actually able to happen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so went back, watched the season 8 finale again, and there's not a huge window of time here. Reddington gives Dembe that envelope shortly before he goes and has his big, farewell party at the restaurant. And the two of them even are in the car together for at least part of that trip until Reddington is like, oh, I'm gonna go on foot at this point, and then we don't actually see Dembe get into the restaurant, pull up into the parking lot, or anything else then.
Yeah, so he could very well go get the letter, give it to Liz, put it back in another envelope, put it back, and here we are.
And we also see Liz have a conversation at some point in all of this with Agnes, talking a little bit about Reddington, and it's kind of very vague. They clearly did not give us the full extent of the conversation we saw on this past episode, otherwise we would know everything.
Yeah, so here's the other thing. Could it just be Liz figured out because she thinks that he's N13 and he has confirmed that he is, that he's Russian, and that's what she told Agnes? But the fingerprints are on the envelope. Again, if she went through all of this for 8 seasons and had that envelope in her hands, I don't believe for any reason she did not end up opening it. She has done so much to get those answers. Not for 1 second did she not open that.
Yeah.
And also, the biggest giveaway to me that this was opened was because of Reddington's reaction. When Agnes brought up some of these details, his face just drained of blood. Like he knew that the contents of that letter had been read and some of that stuff had been told to Agnes. He knew it. It was all over his face.
Yeah, he clearly, we know how obsessive Reddington is about plotting and planning. We saw his secret bunker last season. This is a man who probably has the entire contents of that letter memorized by heart. And so any sort of trigger that Agnes could have said is something that's going to open his eyes. And a big part of the fun here, and we don't even have the full answers to this just yet, is there more that Agnes knows about that letter than we even heard in that conversation? Because we just saw one conversation, and it's possible there's more that Agnes sort of has stored away in the back of her mind that she could pull out at some other point. It's been a couple of years. It's hard to expect her to extract every single detail casually right away.
Yeah, and I mean, because Reddington was so caught off guard, I mean, he didn't ask any sort of further follow-up with Agnes to find out how much does she actually know. And I mean, I'd like to see that conversation happen now that, Reddington's getting his footing a little bit. He feels that the letter's been read, that Dembe betrayed him. He knows that Agnes knows something. He may want to know how much she knows.
My feeling on this, and this is just the feeling, I think we're going to get that moment at some point this season. I don't think it's going to be right away because I think he's still sort of rebuilding that relationship, and he probably doesn't want to have an interrogation where he's like, Agnes, tell me the letter's contents or else. But I think at some point he'll do kind of that Reddington charming thing and be like, so Agnes, tell me about this specific thing that's tied to the letter, and kind of get her to open up about it.
Okay, let's talk about this other theory that's going around, which is that Ouija lied to Reddington and that Liz's fingerprints are not on this envelope at all, and that she is trying to set up for more sort of strife between Dembe and Reddington. She's had some sort of, it feels like a bit of jealousy, or she just doesn't want Dembe around. She doesn't want Dembe coming back. I mean, I'm not sure why. I feel like there's room for everyone to eat at that table. If Dembe came back, it's not like Reddington's gonna be like, oh, bye, Ouija, it's over. And he likes to have a lot of people around him. She would still be part of it. She doesn't have anything to be jealous about. But she has been kind of rude to him, and she thinks that Reddington's putting himself out there just a little too much for Dembe, which, I mean, we all know their relationship. It's not that
Yeah.
much. It's about Reddington amount.
Okay. See, I understand why this theory is out there because I think a lot of people probably want Weecha to have like something a little bit meatier or something more significant because we don't know very much about this character other than that she is apparently a killing machine. But at the same time, this is, no offense to anyone who believes in this theory. I just don't buy it. And the biggest reason I don't buy it is because if Reddington was to find this out about Ouija, it doesn't feel like he's known Ouija anywhere near as long as he's known Dembe. What's gonna stop Reddington from straight up killing her the moment that he realizes that she's lying? And as you sort of explained, the motivation isn't really there. Like, Reddington can have his full entourage. He can have his turtle, his Johnny drama. Like, there's no reason for him not to have them all together.
The other thing about this theory is that for Reddington, this is easy to find out. It is a huge risk for Ouija to lie about something that can be cleared up in a phone call.
Yeah.
It could be that his forensics guy figures something else out or just wants to double check in with Reddington about it. That could fall apart so easily in seconds that it truly doesn't make any sense for her to lie about this over some jealousy over someone who's not part of the crew anymore, and seemingly there's no way he's coming back. Like, it just, for me, the motivation isn't enough, and the risk is so high that Reddington could find out the truth any second with the phone call. Like, it's just so easy.
Well, for those of you guys who are watching, 12 minutes into this video, this is my gift to you. I'm about to tell you the truth, so I hope you guys are all buckled up while I spew a lot of hot air that may not actually be the truth.
All right, here we go.
Okay, here's what happened. At some point between when Dembe got the letter and when everybody showed up at the restaurant and the party went underway, at that point, Dembe gave Liz the letter.
Yep.
Liz read it. As you said, Liz, the new envelope comes about, materializes. I think that is very much true. And then ultimately, Liz shows up unable to kill Reddington because of that. I think this is a situation, and trust me, we all love the Blacklist to be complicated and messy and weird. I think in the end, this is fairly simple, where Dembe just, he cared about Liz. He loved Liz. He wanted Liz to know the truth, more so even than Reddington did. So I think he just did her a solid.
I absolutely think he gave her the letter. She read the letter. They put it back in the envelope. She handed it back to him. He put it back in the book. It just makes the most sense. And the biggest sort of giveaway is that Agnes has some information that really just like drained the blood out of Reddington's face. Like, he really felt that there was enough information there for him to go and get that envelope. Then to me, that means that she actually read it, told Agnes some stuff in it, and that's where we are. Which also makes sense for the Liz character, because she cannot keep a secret to save her life, which is probably one of the reasons why Reddington did not want to tell her. Like, she cannot keep a secret.
That's the funniest part about all this to me, is that even, because she probably only knew this for like maybe a couple of hours, if that, at some point.
Yeah, and she already told somebody.
Yeah. Let's get completely delusional here for a second, because the thing that I really want that's probably not gonna happen is I would love Megan to come back just so we can get like a little bitty scene of like either Dembe giving her the letter or her telling Agnes about some of this stuff. I would really love to dream that they actually filmed something back when she was a part of the show and they're just sort of saving it, but none of that is probably gonna happen.
You never know, right? I mean, spoiler alert for everyone who hasn't seen The Office yet. You guys all ready?
Yep.
Okay, so Steve Carell said he was never coming back, and sure enough, he ended up coming back at the end. So never say never. You never know.
I would just love to have like that little bit more of context. It doesn't have to be a big thing. Megan can probably go in, film it in a couple of hours, just go out, continue her development deal, whatever else she has going on.
Yes.
I just think it would be fun to sort of get that little note. But regardless of if she comes back or not, I think you can tell we're really just excited to have some more theory stuff to talk about with the Blacklist again.
Oh, this last episode was so good. We've been talking about it ever since it aired. It really did make me feel like I was right back in the thick of it all. And I know that we're not going into the rest of season 9 back in the thick of it all, but it is nice to have this all threaded back into it. And it felt like I was back in the Blacklist.
All right, well, let's hear from you guys on all of this. Give us your take on what really happened here with the letter. Did Liz read it? How did the exchange happen with her and Dembe? Where do you think all this is going to go? Let us know and hit that subscribe button for more updates all about the show. And thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you here next time.